Hey there, I am Kate Volman and I am here at Content Marketing World, and surprise, I ran into Michael Stelzner. He is the founder of Social Media Examiner, and I'm so excited to run into him because I've actually interviewed him before, and I said, hey, will you sit down and do a little chat with me? And he said, sure, why not? So, Michael, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we're at this really great conference, and Michael was telling me, obviously, that I need to go to one of his conferences that he's been doing for six years?
We're coming up on year 5.
Year 5. And it is a huge conference. And then we got to talking about coming to conferences like this and the reason behind it. So I wanted Michael to share, because he not only comes to conferences, but he's also put on a really huge conference. Just talk about, as a small business owner, the benefits of going to conferences.
Well, when I started Social Media Examiner, I actually went to a conference. And what I did was I brought a camera guy with me, not all unlike what you're doing, except this camera guy happens to be a phone. I brought a camera guy with me, and we went around and we interviewed all the speakers that were the high-profile speakers at the event, and of course they loved talking to me because that's why they're there, is to get exposure. A lot of those people ended up becoming very good friends and were very instrumental in me founding Social Media Examiner. So the reason you come to events is that in this online world, it's easy to make connections, but it's not till you meet in person that you can really take that connection to the next level, and that's exactly what happened with you and I.
Yes. So so there's obviously, you want to build connections with people, especially now online. It's fun when you get to connect with someone on Twitter or Facebook and you chat with them all the time. You feel like you know them, and then you come to a conference and you physically get to see them and spend time with them. And that's just, like you said, builds those relationships.
And in a matter of minutes, and I kid you not, in a matter of minutes, you can build a relationship that can change your business.
Yes.
And it really only happens when you step out and you decide to go and you decide to connect and you decide to network. And I cannot tell you how many stories I've heard from people that have been attending here. And I've been coming to Content Marketing World for 6 years. And also at Social Media Marketing World, which is my conference, I hear these stories over and over again about how people build relationships. They enter into mastermind groups with their peers and colleagues, or they find the clients that they're looking for, or they get the inspiration that they're looking for that next thing. And that only comes when you physically come together at an event like this.
Yeah. So let's talk about the prep before you come. Do
Yes.
you do a lot of prep work? Do you set up a lot of meetings? What are some tips?
Well, if you are going to a conference like you are, first thing I would do is I would hit up the speaker roster and I would say, who is it that I really want to meet? And then what I would do is I would try to make sure I get to a couple of their sessions, hang around until everyone else has left, and let them know how much you appreciate their work. Even if you have to stalk them a little bit as they're leaving the room, it's actually okay. They all love to hear from their fans, okay? The other thing that you can do is you can just ask people when you're at the event, hey, I would love to meet so-and-so. And you never know who you're talking to. They might know, oh, guess what, I work with this guy, or I'll be happy to make an introduction. And because at an event, people really understand that a lot of times we're here to connect with people, and they try to help facilitate those kinds of connections. Beyond that, there's a lot of serendipity. You want to try to figure out where are the hub points where everybody seems to be hanging out. We are inside of an expo hall right now, and I just kind of hang out here. Kate hangs out here. She's finding people as they're randomly passing.
Stalking a few of them.
I'll give you a little tip. Most of the speakers don't attend the other sessions. They hang out afterwards in the halls. So if you can skip out of some of the sessions, your chances of interacting, have you found this to be true?
Yes.
Your chances of finding these people are going to be much, much higher. So a lot of events also offer recording passes. So that's, if you miss an event, you can almost always get the recording, because you have to realize that the content can be consumed almost any time and you can get that recording. But these relationships only happen when all these people are together, and you have a very limited window of opportunity to get that kind of connection happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually how I met Michael after an inbound conference. He was one of the speakers. I really wanted to interview him for some stuff that I do with GoDaddy, so I of course went to his session and then followed up with him afterwards, got to meet him in person, and then that's really, that was the first way that we connected, and we were able to do that interview. So
absolutely.
And so conferences, so tell us a little bit about Content Marketing World. I mean, it's such a huge conference for content marketing, and obviously a lot of people come here that you know, and a lot of the speakers you're friends with.
Yeah, Content Marketing World is the conference for the corporate content marketer, the person who works for a company and is trying to figure out how to use content to generate leads, build an audience, and there are 3,500 people here right now. It takes place in Cleveland, and it is a really cool mix of all sorts of individuals. And it's not just big corporate. There's also a lot of small business people here, but they are the minority here, not the majority here.
Yeah, and I was telling Michael that I was a little bit surprised. This is the first year that I came, and it's awesome. I'm meeting some really great people, some really great brands, but I'm really interested, well, not interested, I know a lot about your conference. I just have not attended, so I hopefully will be attending next year. So tell us about that, because it's a completely different experience. It's a lot of social influencers, a lot of social media gurus.
Right. Social media marketing world, 4,000 people, San Diego, spring. It's definitely for the small to mid-sized business. Where this is for the big business, ours is for the small to mid-sized. We have big businesses too, but there's a lot of creators. So we have this whole creator series that we're doing this year, which is for bloggers and podcasters and live video producers and YouTubers. And then on top of that, of course, everyone needs to figure out how to use social media. So it's highly tactical. Social media marketers are like crazy cool, fun people.
Yes.
Like Kate times 1,000, okay? Times many thousands. So we create an environment there that's very, very easy to connect, especially if you're an introvert. I'm not. I don't know if you are. I don't think you are.
No.
But we make it really easy for you to make those connections in a way that you will not experience at another event. So a lot of people go there and just have an amazing experience. The key word is experience.
What are some of the fun things that you guys do?
Opening night party on an aircraft carrier.
I mean, come on.
Seriously.
That's so awesome.
We take over the USS Midway, which was the largest aircraft carrier in the world until 1960. 4.5-acre flight deck.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's amazing. We have a whole area we call the networking plaza, which are just basically a place to go network, and we have signs all over the place that say bloggers, podcasters, content marketers. You sit at a table and you're surrounded by people that are just like you. We have networking embassy, where literally you go to the embassy and you say, I'm looking for this person, and they will actually call that person and say, hey, and they'll make those connections happen. And we have networking ambassadors walking around that have photographic memories, I kid you not, and they will help make those contacts happen. We have private Slack groups for the conference, and we have LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups, and we just do all this kind of stuff. So by the time you show up, it's like summer camp.
They basically own the internet, like leading up to the conference, during the conference, and then after the conference.
It is kind of overwhelming, but it's a very, very cool experience. I would really strongly encourage you, if you're trying to figure out how to use social media to grow your small business, generate more exposure, get more leads, or you're a creator of any kind and you need to figure out how to refine your craft, it's really the conference.
And definitely check out socialmediaexaminer.com if you do not yet follow, because one of the great things about all of your contributors, writers, everyone, your podcast, everyone that you interview, they're very niche in what they do. So they give very good strategies and tactics. So it's not just kind of theory, like, oh, you should be consistent in your content. It's very action oriented. They talk about tools, the technology behind how do you use social media and make it spread further with all the different tools and things that they share. So it's really amazing content, and that's really one of the reasons why I love listening to you, is because of it, because it's really niche. And I know that you don't just ask anyone to speak. I mean, there's a process. You really do get the best.
We recruit 100% of our speakers. There's no official process to register like a lot of other events. And we only invite people that are truly willing to stay there and engage with the community and really are servants. And it's a very different kind of experience. So I would really love it if you all come, and if you do, be sure to come up and say hello to me and say, hey, I'm here because of that video you did.
Yay! Well, thank you. So socialmediaexaminer.com, that's the best way for people to find you,
correct? They can find everything about me there, yeah.
Awesome. And I will also link the interview that I did with him from GoDaddy, because we talked a little bit about his story, and he has an incredible story about how he started and grew Social Media Examiner, and he's an author, a speaker, all around awesome guy. So thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you taking the time. See you guys soon.